This is sentences 10, and we're going to look at indirect objects. When an action verb has a direct object, it may also have what we call an indirect object. An indirect object is a noun or pronoun. It comes after the action verb and before the direct object. It's very specific, its location. It's after an action verb and before a direct object. And it names the person or thing that something is given to or done for. They answer the question to whom or for whom or to what or for what. So, an example, Lucy told him the news. Lucy's our subject, told is the verb. Lucy told what? Lucy told the news. Okay, that's what she said. That's the news. To whom did she tell it? To him. So him is your indirect object. Subject, verb, indirect object, direct object. The indirect comes between the verb and the direct object always. S-V-I-O-D-O. That will always be the order. Okay? Another example, Miss Stacy gave each paper a number. Okay, so Miss Stacy gave what? She gave a number. To what? To the papers. So paper is your indirect object. Number is your direct object. Okay? Another example, LeBron James shows his teammates new shots. So LeBron shows what? Right? Subject, verb. He shows shots. To whom? His teammates. So teammates is your indirect object. Shots is your direct object. Most sentences are going to follow S-V-I-O-D-O. If a sentence does not have a direct object, it cannot have an indirect object. You can only have an indirect object when you have a direct object in the sentence. Okay, you always have to have a direct object first, then you can have an indirect object. I find sometimes what really helps students is if you identify your subject and verb and you put your pencil on the verb like this, and you ask your what question, LeBron shows what, and you draw an arrow to your direct object. He shows shots, and then from here you say to whom? To his teammates. And that's what it would look like. You'd have one arrow going out and one arrow coming back in between the direct object and the verb. Okay? And that sometimes helps. You just put your pencil right on your paper and you answer your questions and you draw your arrows back and forth. Okay? If the answer to the question to whom or for whom is in a prepositional phrase, then there's no indirect object in the sentence. An indirect object never follows a preposition. It never follows a preposition to or for in particular. So the difference, the assistant gave the players towels. The assistant gave what? It gave, he or she gave towels to whom or what? To the players. Okay? The assistant gave towels to the players. In this case, we still have our subject, verb, direct object. That hasn't changed. But you'll notice players has moved from between the verb to after the direct objects, and it now follows the preposition to. Because it's part now of prepositional phrase, to the players. And you should cross it off. That way, if you're crossing it off, you're not going to get yourself confused in terms of is there a direct object or not. Okay? This is not here. This is part of a preposition. So this sentence does, in this structure, in this format, this sentence does not have an indirect object. Both have direct objects, though. Okay, so just like direct objects, a sentence may have a compound indirect object, meaning more than one. He gave Chuck and Steve their dessert. So he gave what? Subject, verb. He gave dessert. Okay? So I'm just going to draw my little arrow. He gave desserts. To whom did he give the desserts? Well, he gave them to Chuck and to Steve. Okay? Has a direct object and an indirect object in it. Keep your sentence simple. S-V-I-O-D-O. Okay? No prepositional phrases. One verb, one subject, one direct object, one indirect object. You have to tell me what your subject, verb, direct object, indirect object, us. Your S, your V, your IO, and your DO. Okay?